Hey y'all, this is Brett, and today I talked to this woman. Her name is Rose, and she's from my home state. And I just gave her a call because I kind of wanted to connect to somebody back in Utah. You know, even though I don't like the Mormons that much, I just feel this in my heart for people in my home state. Anyways, so she has fibromyalgia, and so I gave her a pep talk. And I was so fired up after talking to her that I decided I'm going to make a video about environmental illness and fibromyalgia because they go in hand in hand. And I was really sick right about, the time of 9/11, and oh my God, the stress of that put me over the top. And I'm going to teach you what I did and what I've done over the last many years to gradually decrease my toxicity. Now, one of the things that you need to do is everyone needs to do these things, and so it's not just people with fibromyalgia. And let me backstep just a little bit and tell you that the things that I've read about fibromyalgia are just a wide range of illnesses. And the doctors can't put their thumbs on it. They don't know exactly what it is, but I'll tell you what it is. It's mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional sickness on a lot of levels. And it's largely because people have candida, they have heavy metals, they have mucoid plaque and parasites in their bodies. And when a person gets super saturated with all of this, then they get to the point of where there's no turning back. And you have to know that most of you understand that when an alcoholic, for instance, gets to a point of where they can no longer just keep drinking to satisfy their needs, or when somebody gets to the point of where the sex is just not going to cut the mustard for them anymore, and just having 6 hours of sex a day is not going to work, or umpteen numbers of other things, a workaholic. Eventually you have to get balance in your life and not do too much of any one thing. And so all the different things that I talk about, like not being too dependent on one person, like a spouse or a boss or something, or too dependent on a job, get some backup in your life. And that will also give you variety. Variety is the spice of life. So don't just eat the same foods all the time, and don't do the same job, and don't get buried in too much debt because that creates stress. So get back to the natural things, because see, the natural things are the things that won't create toxicity in our bodies. And they'll give you good feelings, like wood will give you good feelings, and good healthy food will give you good feelings. And you don't want to necessarily jump too quickly to, say, a raw food diet, because that might not give you good feelings if it's 20 degrees outside and you're craving some hot chili. So you got to work on a whole lot of different things, and water is your best friend and cleanser. And when your gut feels bad, then you need to drink a bunch of water with baking soda in it to neutralize the acid, and then throw up all that toxic parasites, candida that's in there, because your gut is turning. And you can't just ignore it with some Tums anymore that's full of sugar and B and C number 13. It won't work. That's what everyone wants you to do. They just want to suppress everything. If you have emotions that need to come out, then you need to get them out. You need to cry. You need to find somebody that's okay with that and understands that and will give you a hug, etc. Or just be with God, because God will always understand. And no matter what you are or where you've been and what your problems are, if you'll do breath work, Look up Indian breathwork ceremonies and learn how to take in a whole lot of oxygen, and that will help you to get out your emotions. And just like the vomiting, after you've cried for an hour or even days, it may take you days to get over something like the death of someone or something. But eventually you'll come to a new spirituality and a new understanding for the reality of what life is. And I've been through this, and we've been through this, but sometimes it takes someone like myself that's been there longer and has a deeper understanding, or just kind of a more balanced understanding, to explain things. Or maybe you just know this and you need to hear it again, and I'm just here to remind you. Sometimes people leave comments on old videos of mine, and I'll go back and I'll look at them and I'll be like, oh yeah, and I'll remind myself in an old video exactly something that I need to remember. And so, anyways, when you are toxically sick because your blood has a lot of mercury or it has a lot of candida parasites in it, then it gets to your brain, and then you start thinking depressive thoughts like, I don't even care if I'm alive anymore. If I die tonight, then okay, well, that's all right. Well, you do need to come to a certain point of where you're accepting of death, because we are all going to die. But whenever you're thinking depressive thoughts, or whenever you feel really tired in the middle of the day, or whenever you're having to get up too many times to pee, it's a sign that you need to go cleanse your large intestine and do an enema. Or you need to do a hot foot bath. Remember, water is your best friend here. And you need to continually dilute your body and get it less toxic by use of the magic thing, the water that we all are encompassed most of. They say over 70%. And so keep drinking water. Use water to clean out your large intestine. Please watch my video, how to do an enema, something like that. And it'll come right up there at the top. It's one of the greatest videos I've ever done. And it's funny even. So, just keep cleansing and there was a time when I needed to go to a lot of gatherings and be around people. And so I went to Course in Miracles meetings. I went to Al-Anon meetings, and just sitting there and listening to people sob or talk about their problems made me feel better, and it will do the same for you. And so, if you have just an ounce of energy and you need to do that, then find some meetings in your town, some kind of an AA or an OA, Overeaters Anonymous, because most of us turn to food too much, and we get in a habit, a habitual pattern. And that's when we need to make some changes. And tapping on your head is a huge thing that I've been doing lately that I kind of forgot about, but I already knew. And when you need to change a habit, and this is one of the very important things that everyone needs to do, because when we get a stagnated energy in our body, then we need to rub a muscle that's sore. Or if we get a cramp, like I had a cramp in my foot a little while ago, and I had to rub my lower leg muscles and my feet for about 10 minutes before it finally came out. We can also get stagnated energy in our brains. And that's when we need to send vibrations into our brains. Because see, you can't massage your brain. The only thing that you can do is a massage stroke. It's actually a stroke, one of the 5 major massage strokes. And it's called tapotement or percussion. And what it is it's sending a vibration into the area via a tapping, a smacking like this. So you tap all over your head. And the reason that this video is going in all directions is because this is for fibromyalgia. And people need to learn a whole wide range of different things that they can do to heal themselves. And so I'm kind of branching off in a lot of different directions with this video. So tap on your head and feel wherever it is more sensitive and sore. Now for me, it's sore right here. It's right there and along the ridge here on the right and left side. So I've been tapping on those spots, and it will get progressively less and less sensitive. Maybe your ears are really sensitive. So working on your ears, also known as auricular therapy, is hugely, hugely healing because your ears reflex to your whole body, just like your hands, your feet, and your face. Okay? So, as you break things up in your body that are stagnated, as you regenerate tissues, and as you build confidence, and as you continually take more and more oxygen in, and more water, and clean out the bad, it's out with the bad and in with the good. Out with the bad and in with the good. Cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle. Year after year. Week after week. You know? And sometimes you can't think about something a year ahead, because when you're really sick, the more sick that you are, the more you have to focus on that moment. And there have been times in my life when I was so sick that I was just focusing on staying alive and not killing myself 1 minute at a time. Okay? So, just keep healing yourself. Keep healing yourself. And the more you wake up the next day and you say to yourself, I'm still alive, then the more you will be strong, and it will give you a desire to do something fucking incredible with your life. And the angels, they will give you the clues, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to know to be able to fulfill your dreams, because you're on a mission. You're on a mission for yourself, and you're on a mission for the planet, maybe. You may be on a mission for the animals. And you may have 8 dogs, like one of my students the other day. And she'll probably see this video. You may have 8 dogs, and one of the things that's most important in your life is to take care of these dogs. And those dogs may be very special spirits that deserve to be taken care of. Or who knows how many different things, important things, all kinds of things that you may feel that you have a calling for. I was born in Utah, and these are some of the phrases that they'll say in Utah: your calling or your mission, etc. And you'll see these guys riding around on their bicycles, and they're doing something that's important to them. Some of them. Others are just doing it because they've been told by their families that this is what they should do. Don't do that, okay? Do what is in your heart and soul and makes you feel good. Because when you have a purpose in life and you're fulfilling your dreams, that's what's going to make you want to live. Your heart is going to keep beating, no matter how toxic your blood is. And you're going to get up the next day. Even if you don't get up the next day, you're still going to be reborn into another life and start again. And you're going to be rewarded with a new body and a new energy. And you're going to be a person that has retained all of the good things that you've accumulated from your past lives. It's just a progression. Everything is a continual progression. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night.